With the release of SMT IV, many people are getting more interested in the mainline SMT series. So what better time to talk about the game that came before 5, SMT IV? SMT IV came out on the 3DS in 2013 and quickly became one of the highest selling RPGs on the console. Despite that, the mainline series is still somewhat niche, at least in the West, compared to other series like Final Fantasy, Dragon Quest, Pokemon, and even its own spin-off. But in my opinion, the game is much better than even some of the best entries in those series. Within the first hour of the game, I knew I would like it. It starts off with this weird dream sequence where you can see 2 different futures that could happen depending on what alignment you choose. Soon after that, you wake up and go with your friend to see if you can become a samurai. The gauntlet chooses you, and not long after, you're thrust into Naruku, I don't know how to say it, and which is one of the best starting areas in a JRPG actually. This area will kick your butt until you understand how the game works. It's difficult, but once you get everything down, it's definitely worth it. You learn how demon negotiation works, get access to fusion, and even whisper skills to Flynn, whatever. This is a huge improvement over the Magatama system in Nocturne and adds so much more customization to your playthrough. Sure, you could go with a bunch of builds in previous games, but SMT IV allows you to pretty much do whatever you want without overcomplicating things. Eventually, you encounter your first real boss, Minotaur. Despite popular belief, he's not actually that hard. Unless your partner is Walter, then it's not fun. It took me around 2 tries my first playthrough. Just find out his weaknesses and resistances and have a good party of demons and you'll be fine. It doesn't really matter that much. Otherwise, you may be stuck on him for a while though. One of my favorite things about the series as a whole compared to other monster collecting games is that you really have to build your party around the bosses or encounters you have to go against in that area, which is cool compared to Pokemon, when you just have a bunch of good Pokemon and just roll through the game. On that subject, Demon Fusion is absolutely vital in this game, and thankfully it's much improved over previous installments. One of the best new features added was the Fusion Search. This made fusing the ideal party a lot easier, and by using app points you get from leveling up, you can do things such as store more demons with you at once, raise the level cap for fusion, and increase stats that demons might gain from being fused. It helps that this game and its sequel Apocalypse probably have the largest demon compendium in the series, since they've used 3D models and had some new artists to design a lot of new demons, which generally turns out well, even though I prefer Kaneko's art style, but a lot of the demons still look really good, except for Lucifer. Oh my, no, ew. One of the main things SMT IV added to the combat was smirking, and basically, after landing a critical hit, there's a very high chance you'll be smirking, which guarantees a critical hit for the next attack, I think. And this goes for enemies too, of course, causing a lot of people in the community to be a little frustrated, but I've never really had that much of a problem with it. And I really like smirking as an idea. I still think it's a lot better in SMT IV Apocalypse, but it's still not that bad in SMT IV. Overall, I'd say SMT IV's combat is an improvement over Nocturne, but kind of falls short compared to SMT IV Apocalypse. As for SMT V, I have a lot of hot takes, probably, I think, about that game's combat compared to SMT IV's, but I'll get into that later whenever I talk about that game. Yeah, that's it about the gameplay though. How's everything else? Well, it's amazing of course. What did you expect? Since this isn't Persona, the game doesn't really have to focus on its characters that much. And despite that, I found these characters to be a lot more enjoyable than a lot of Persona characters. I wasn't really expecting. Jonathan and Walter are my favorite alignment characters, and they kind of remind me of the SMT I characters, except with a lot more development. And the world building is really good, and you can really see how dreadful it is to live in Tokyo when a post-apocalyptic thing and you get to see with your own eyes how corrupt the kingdom of Mikado is behind the scenes. And you get like first-hand experience with like the Ring of Gaia and stuff like that. And it's really up to you to figure out who to side with. This is another element of mainline I really like, and I think SMT IV handles it basically the best, honestly. Personally, I either go with Chaos or Neutral. I'm not a big Law fan. Neutral is cool, but it requires you to do a lot of side quests, which really aren't a high point of the game, and they're kind of boring, but Neutral is like objectively correct, so it's worth it. However, my favorite thing about this game isn't the combat or the story, it's actually the soundtrack. I think Ryota Kazuka, I don't want to butcher that name, I'm sorry, really did good on this one. This game has a lot of the best battle themes in the series, feeling like a modern recreation of the best like SNES era stuff. Songs like Battle A1, B2, Tokyo, A2, C2, they sound like Nier Automata robot names, but whatever. And Ikebukuro Underground District are easily my favorites. Many of the songs also end up appearing in Apocalypse as well, since it reuses a lot of 4's assets, but I'm not really complaining because it's really good, and duh, why wouldn't I want that in a game? In conclusion, SMT IV is easily one of the best games in the franchise, due to its top-tier world building, amazing soundtrack, and fast-paced gameplay. If you have a 3DS, I would recommend picking it up on the eShop, unless you feel like paying a pretty penny for a physical copy on eBay. Before SMT V came out, this game would basically be on my list for the best Megaten games to start with. And after writing the script, it still is. SMT V's a little too hard, I think, for like newcomers. Anyways, yeah, it's pretty accessible, especially if you can get through the challenging beginning. Well, that's about it. I probably could have gone more in depth, but I feel like if I did, I would accidentally spoil a lot. Sure, the game's been out for a while, but there are still a lot of new people who I think could still experience it for the first time due to like the new influx of SMT fans. If you would like a video where I rant about things more, probably even more unscripted, let me know. Until next time, bye.
Yeah, お前丸かじり Yeah, it's begun. Grand battle, we battle, we rattle. Michael to right, but the hype inside, confronting the weak side. Squeezy trigger to enter on my constant elevation self side. As the years pass by, my eyesight improve. See the motion during prime time. The rest I don't mind, so no need to fear unless you break the testament and profess the best to try to spot. I like the manifest and confess.